Good morning from Canada. Right now, about -9 Celsius, which is like 15 Fahrenheit roughly. Um, there's no ice. I don't think I'm going to cover the pond. It's not necessary. This today will be the coldest, and I think everybody will be just fine. Sometimes if you cover your pond all winter, and if it's too dark, you can get that snow mold sort of effect. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a mold, that bluish whitish stuff that can grow from being in too dark of a pond. So I did take the covers off to help. I mean, it's just about gone, but I do think your pond needs sun to regenerate all the plants, and sometimes you can get artificial overheating in the winter. If you're in a warmer climate, you'll get more algae covering your pond. The longer you cover your pond, the warmer the surface of the water will be, and the more string algae you'll have. Up in the mountains, if you've ever been to the mountains, the water's always crystal clear, and you can see to the bottom because the water's always ice cold coming out of those Canadian mountains. And ice fishing, when you catch the fish under the ice, they're always fresher, like a pike. If you get the pike in the middle of the winter from an ice hole and you fish it out, it can taste just like trout, so clean, and no bugs and no worms. But if you get that same fish in a warm, shallow lake in the middle of the summer, they taste like a slough shark. Okay, and basically that's what happens to the koi. If you're keeping them too warm all winter, they're not going to be as fresh and as healthy. And the koi, the thing that gets them is parasites. And if you're heating your pond or keeping it too warm, you're only making the parasites happy. Okay, that's basically the truth. But it's spring is coming soon, so said the fat little groundhog. So I think everything is going to be just fine. I don't heat my koi ponds. I've been keeping them out here. Well, with the other one I started back in 1991, everybody's just fine. Let's take a quick look and see. They're in a slumber mode. You can see down there how clean and clear the water is, and very little string algae. String algae grows best in the middle of the winter when nothing else is growing. The string algae will eat the nutrients. So it's not entirely bad, but it can become unsightly, and come spring when the summer sun gets really hot, you might have a lot of trouble with it. And I don't like string algae. If you do have a lot down there, in my old pond, on the top pond, I did get string algae when I used to heat it with the heater. I would take a long stick and twirl the string algae like cotton candy at a fair, right? And pull it out that way. And you can control it that way too. But yeah, I'm not going to cover the pond. I think everything's just fine. The fish are huddled down there at the bottom. That's what they do in the middle of the winter. Or if they had a cave, they'd hide in the cave. But I think it looks kind of pretty. The fresh snow came down heavy and wet, and there was a lot of snow. It really topped up the pond. I got a good dump of fresh snow in the pond to freshen everything up for spring, which is natural too, right? You're supposed to have some sort of fresh water supply in the spring. You know, you get your spring overflow at the creeks and the rivers, and that'll help keep everything fresher. Oh, somebody's swimming. And that's today in Canada.